Welcome to the Great Vlogmas Adventure at Plaid Perch Farm. Join me on the farm as we settle into the winter rhythms. Together we'll unbox the Great Guts Adventure from Melly Knits. Come along as I prep, spin, and share the magic of winter on the farm. I'm Greg Paget, and I am excited to share Vlogmas with you this year. I'm going to do it a little different. I know I don't have the ability to vlog every day, but I'm going to try to capture footage every day and put it together into a Vlogmas episode every 4 days. So this first episode is going to be days 1 through 4. So I'm excited to share what's happening and what am I doing here on the farm. It's wintertime, and so we have our first fresh snow, and that means winter chores. So I'm going to take you along on winter chores throughout Vlogmas. I have 2 advents that I'm going to open. The one is really cheesy. It is a chocolate advent from IKEA. I really enjoy these. They're just really yummy chocolates. So we'll open one of those each day. And then the other one I am super excited about. So this is the inspiration for the Vlogmas. So this is the Great Guts Adventure from Melly Knits. So I'm really excited to go through this and show you the different fibers. Part of this adventure is going to be opening these 12 different fibers and the specialty fibers that are to be mixed with them and processing them. So these are washed fibers that are ready to be processed and then spun. So I want to get through the processing for sure through Vlogmas, and I'm hoping to do a little spinning on my new flat iron that I got for my birthday back in November. So I'm excited to take you along on this journey and see what we have. So first, let's open the box. Let's see what is inside. All right, here we go. So first we have a really cute bag. So this, I remember her talking about how there's a hand-sewn bag in each of the advents. So this feels like a paper bag, but it feels a little leathery too. I'm super excited about this. This will be a fun new project bag. I'm gonna go through the handmade items because they're kind of scattered about in here. So I'm gonna go through those first. I have this really fun sticker. It's super cute. It is a bunch of little owls in a tree. Really fun. And I have a really fun print up there that I got when I worked at Living History Farms. One of the printmakers in the print shop there printed a really fun print that talks about beards and owls. This really goes well with that inspiration. And then the next is the Parliament of Owls, a collection of hand-cut paper stickers by Finley Paper Co. So let's see what these look like. Oh, these are cute. Oh, these are all little hand-cut owls. Oh my gosh, they're so adorable. So I'll have to figure out what's next for those. What am I going to do with those? Those are really fun. So a little collection of those. Oh, you've got a little hand-beaded stitch markers. These are really cute and some really fun stones that go with them. So I know she mentioned these are some natural stones, but this is a really fun, really beautiful colors. Oh, here's another goodie. Ooh, some lip balm from Apotho Candy, orange and cardamom. That sounds amazing. I do love orange and cardamom. Oh, yep, that's perfect. I am going to enjoy that one. So some good lip balm. I'll have to hide that from my kids so they don't take it. Oh, we have our yarn, our fiber tags, so we can tag what they are and how we've prepared them. So those are always fun. And then what is this? Yay Community, scan to interact with the postcard. Oh, this is fun. So there's a little QR code that we can scan This is a really neat idea, and it goes with the community aspect that I really love. So this is a postcard that you can, she made a little form that you could scan and enter in there that you want to exchange a postcard with someone else that has a Great Gut Adventure. And you can write them a little note, and we swap addresses, and so we'll exchange cards. So you can get a card with a handwritten note from somebody else who's going through the same fiber adventure as you. That's pretty special. I think that is a fantastic idea. So I will definitely do that. Super excited about all of these. So the next step is we're going to take all of these fibers and we're going to hang them up on the Advent tree. So each day we can go through our countdown. And so I will do, since there's 12, I'm going to do one every other day. So today we'll start with day 1. The third, we'll do day 3. So I'm excited to see what fibers we have in store. Let's open up our Advents. So let's start with our chocolate. See what we have today. Oh, it's something white chocolate. Let's see, what do we have? Oh, it's a vanilla truffle. So let's take a bite of that. Definitely vanilla-y. It's very good. So that's our day 1 chocolate. Let's open our first day of our fiber advent from the Great Guts Adventure. This is a really full and dense. You can see some of them aren't as dense as this, so it tells me that this is a really chunky wool. So let's set the tag aside and let's pull it out and see what we have. Ooh, I do love gray. We have more in here. Haha, this is fun. All right. So day 1, we have this beautiful gray, really beautiful colored fleece. This is really fun. And so this is a Corriedale yearling from Wellman Family Corriedales in Colorado. Oh, I love this one. This is really pretty. You can really see beautiful lock structure, really chunky, really fun. That's really cool. So we'll talk more about this fiber as I'm picking it. So I'm going to do a little research and read up because I've never spun or processed Corriedale, and it's one that's been on my list. So thank you, Melly, because now I get a chance to do so. And the 5 grams that accompany this is, let's see. So accompanying this, we have 5 grams of baby camel down. This is also another new fiber to me. See, this is all part of the adventure, is really experiencing these new fibers. Oh, this is soft and silky. It's a short staple, but really fun. And it's kind of a fawn color, like it's really a light brown, kind of a light tan. It's really pretty. So I'm super excited to see how these card up together. So now I'm going to do a little research and learn a little more about the Corriedale. So I'm going to grab my Fleece and Fiber source book and dig through that and see what I can learn about the Corriedales. And I'll come back and I'll do some picking and I'll tell you all about that. This breed is originally from a cross of Lincoln and maybe some Leicesters, some Leicester longwools, and some Merinos. So you can really see that in the structure of this wool. I'm going to grab a lock out here and I'll tell you about it. Let's see if I can find a nice chunky one. Here we go. So they're typically a 3 to 5 inch lock. So this one I'd say is probably relaxed as a good 4 inches. So it could get to about a 5 inch if I kind of stretched it out. You can see a lot of really well defined crimp as you look through there. And it's a pretty versatile fiber. You typically see it in white, but they also have colors. Spoiler alert, all sheep have colors. All sheep have a foundation of black and brown, and it's just something that through domestication we've really bred out of them. And so I do love the colors, and you see that in the sheep that I own. So yeah, just this really beautiful lofty. This one, if we spun it woolen or worsted, it's gonna have some loft. Like that's just its natural inclination is to be lofty and really warm. So really a great, fun, versatile fiber. So the microns on a Corriedale are about 25 to 31 microns. So it's definitely a soft, it's definitely a next to skin softness. So let's do a little picking. So I'm gonna basically just kind of pull them out and just kind of open those up and watch for, oh, here I can see, I don't know if that will come across on the camera or not, but there's some dandruff in there. And dandruff is not a scary thing. And in Melly's lore video, she talks about how this has dandruff and how dandruff is kind of a common thing in sheep, and it can be an okay thing. And there's a lot of confusion between dandruff and scurf, and scurf is something that just doesn't come out. Like it is something that is really sticky and sticks to the wool, where dandruff will just kind of comb and card out eventually. So it's not, and this has a very minimal amount, so it's really not a scary amount at all. And so I'm really glad she sent that out, because that's something that I think some people would be scared of. But I think in a advent like this, it's about learning. It's about experiencing the wool and experiencing sometimes those imperfections and the things that we might have to deal with. So I was really glad that she shared that and really talked about that on her lore video. So if you want to learn more about her perspective on dandruff and her experience with it, check that out. And I would also say she gave a really great tip, because scurf is something that is common, in particular in the primitive breeds. So I do struggle with it in some of my Shetlands. And so she gave a tip of getting some boiling water and kind of swirling a lock in there with the end with the scurf, what you suspect to be the scurf or dandruff. And then kind of swirl it around in that boiling water and then pull it out. And you can then see, like, if it's dandruff, it's going to pull out. But if it's scurf, like, it's going to stick. It's going to be sticky and want to stay in there. So I thought that was a really great tip on how to kind of inspect your wool and see, like, is that something that I can work with? It's harder to see in the lighter colors. It's definitely, you can very much see it in darker colors. Like it stands out a lot better. So as you're shopping for fleece, that's something to look for, and you can kind of pull it out and hold it up in the light, and usually you can kind of see that through the profile of the fiber if it's there. So that was a really great and helpful tip. And scurf is something else that I've been kind of experimenting with and trying to find ways to not lose that fleece, because it's a hard thing to deal with from a shepherd standpoint, of knowing where it's coming from, what's causing it, and how to mitigate it. And so sometimes it's kind of inevitable. And so I'm kind of I've been saving some of those fleeces to experiment with them and see if I can find ways to kind of salvage those and work that scurf out. And one of the newest ways that I'm trying, and I haven't really been successful at it yet, is laying the fleece out in the rain, in the sun, and having the cut side up. And so the rain and the sun work together to wash out that scurf. So it's something I'm going to try again next summer and see if I can kind of learn some more about ways that we might be able to salvage those fleeces that do have scurf. So all I'm doing to pick it open is I'm pulling out a lock and just taking one in and kind of teasing it out. And so what that's doing is just opening those fibers. So it's helping the carder do its job. Because the carder is not meant to open the fibers. The carder is just really about aligning and combing through those fibers to really prepare them in a way to spin them. And so really it's just about opening those fibers, creating just a beautiful cloud. And then I'll send those slowly through my carder in a really thin. Like I want to be able to see through them when I am putting them through the carder. So I'm not overloading the carder, and then that causes it to rip and tear, and that's when you have some neps that'll cause some neps to happen. And so I want to avoid that. So I am really excited because this has just a beautiful variation of really beautiful grays. Everything is picked. So this is the 25 grams, probably a little bit more than that, accounting for a little bit of waste as you go through the carding process and the picking. You'll see here, this is all that I had for waste on this one. So this was a coated fleece, and so it was pretty free of VM. You could see with some of the pieces that were probably closer to the edge that had a little bit of hay bits in them. And so yeah, so just this really fun fiber. It's all picked through. So now I'm going to take this over to the carder and run it, do a pass with just the Corriedale, and then I'll start to mix it together. So I'm excited to see how this cards up. Now I've got to dig into the day. I'm off to do chores and see what else this day brings. And the kids are home from school today, so we're having a snow day, and so there's going to be a lot of attention and taking care of them. And so we'll do some chores and see what comes of the rest of the day. All right, are we ready for day 3? So you might have noticed I skipped day 2. Day 2 was a busy day. I was in town the whole day, had some errands to run, had to get my truck serviced, do my own therapy appointment, and so it was a really busy day. And so didn't capture any footage. So today we're going to open up 2 chocolates. So let's open up the second, because that was yesterday. And this one is a dark caramel praline. This is probably one of my favorites. And then let's grab 3 right away. Here's 3. So open that one up. And it's a little bar. And this one is a chocolate orange crisp. Another one of my favorites. Orange and chocolate just seem to be a really great combination. Yep, I still agree. All right, so let's open up day 2. So this one's not as chunky as the last one. So it's a little thinner of a package. So it tells me something about the wool that it's going to be different than the Corriedale, which was kind of a lofty, bouncy, blocky fiber. So let's see what we have today. Oh yes. So day 2 is some really pretty locks. So these are border Leicester locks. So these come from, I believe, a lamb named Molly. So really beautiful. You can see that very well. So those are really long. So typically a border Leicester will be, it's a long wool. So it's one that you probably will shear twice a year, because if you let it grow for a full year, you're going to have probably 10 inches, and most carder machines can't card something that's that long. The fibers just get too long and they aren't able to run through the machinery. And even your drum carder at home probably will struggle with that, depending on the size of your drum carder. But yeah, a lot of luster, really shiny, really beautiful wavy crimp. So I'm really excited to play with that, because long wools are something that I'm new to. So I'm not very experienced with long wools. So again, we're going on that adventure. And there's this amazing orange. We all know I love a good orange. And this is Tussa silk. So this, again, silk's kind of a new one to me. I don't do a lot of blends, so I'm excited to see how these blend together and what comes of this really beautiful combination. All right, so let's start to pick these fibers open and talk about them a little bit. So again, I'm going to do this very similar to the Corriedale. I'm just going to grab one in and kind of pull them open. So the nice thing about a border Leicester is it's kind of in between a BFL and a Leicester long wool. And so it's going to have a lot more fineness. It's going to not have as tight of a curl as a BFL. And so it's kind of the best of all the worlds. So you get that fineness that you get from the BFL, and you get that that crimpiness and ease to open from the Leicester long wool. So I believe that this breed originated in the UK, although there might have been a variety of breeds from other that kind of originate in other areas. But I believe it was crossing some Leicester long wools with Teeswater or maybe Cheviot to create the kind of a different breed. Breeding programs are interesting, how it's different. So not just crossing creates a breed, but crossing and really selecting for particular traits and really defining particular traits that create that breed. And so that's what they did with the border Leicesters. And typically you will find in the UK, they are a finer wool than, so a softer. So they're going to be about a 29 to 32 micron, whereas in the US, you're typically going to see like a 30 to a 38. So Melly says that this one came from some UK genetics, and so that's why you have that fineness. So this is going to be really beautiful. And I think blending it with that rusty orange is going to be really awesome. So I'm just going to open these up. I could comb this, but I think for the Great Guts Adventure, I want to really experiment with my carder. And I'm pretty familiar with combing, but carding different fibers is new. Like, I'm very accustomed to carding the fibers that I raise, but to be able to card fibers that are different breeds that I haven't done before, I think that's part of this adventure as well. So I'm going to pick these open and then card them instead of combing them. All right, so I finished the picking of the border Leicester. Thank you, Molly. Beautiful fleece. I did that while I was watching my friend Emily, the botanical knitter. I was watching her Vlogmas. True inspiration. I really enjoy watching her creations and what she's up to. So this is ready to head to the carder. Hopefully later today I'll be able to head over the carder. I haven't carded the Corriedale yet either, so I might be able to knock these both out today and show you the finished result. So we'll see how that goes. But in the meantime, I need to run off and do chores, And I hope to gather up some of the electric netting in the pasture last Saturday. We got about 8 inches of snow, and I hadn't pulled all the fence off, and I just pulled the last flock of the sheep off of the pasture just because of the impending snow. But I was hoping to graze them through at least Christmas, and didn't quite get there. I had enough grass, but with the snow, so I moved them into the barn so I can give them hay. So this will be my first year pulling electric netting out of snowbanks. So we'll see how that goes. It is day 4. And today I don't have a fiber advent to open, but I do have a chocolate. So today we've got a chocolate truffle from the IKEA advent. So I'm going to pop that in, and then I'm going to head out and do some chores. Good morning. It is frosty. I think it's like negative 14 degrees right now. So I just gave all the sheep some fresh hay, checked all their waters, make sure they have plenty of water, because on these cold days, their ruminants need lots of hay to keep their bodies warm. So that's how they survive. That's how they keep warm in the winter. So it's pretty amazing. Thank you for joining me for my first episode of Vlogmas. I hope you've enjoyed the farm and the fiber, and I can't wait to see you in 4 more days.